4 ways that kettlebells can accelerate your core strength and stability. We're going to be covering these 4 ways in the next 4 sections, and what we're going to try and do is help you understand, first of all, what core strength and stability is, how to build it, and then how to integrate these kettlebells into it. Number 1, what is core strength? Core strength is the ability to hold a position or to get into a position and hold it. Then we've got the stability, which is the muscle timing that comes with when we move dynamically. So when I'm standing here, muscles are acting and active in a certain way. As soon as I bend forward, that changes. If I have a weight in front of me, it changes again. So all of these create the stability because the muscles have to change with the environment and the objects that I'm moving around. So this is where kettlebells come in. So what we're going to do now is look at 4 ways that kettlebells can accelerate your core strength and stability. And number 1 is, as I've described, they are dynamic. So when we talk about kettlebells, a very simple exercise to start you with is just to come on down onto your knees, come into this position and just pass it around your body, like so. Because as I've mentioned, in everyday life, we're moving stuff around, our body is moving around, we're changing position, that's changing load. If we only do, not that I would recommend it anyway, but like a sit-up, you may get very strong right through the middle of your torso. But that's not going to help the sides, that's not going to help the back. What that's going to help is the front. So we need to be able to evenly distribute load all around the torso so the torso gets built evenly as well. So the first way that it can accelerate your core strength and stability is that, depending on the weight you use, this is only 12 kilos, but depending on the weight you use, that's going to build the strength of it. Then as we move it, that's going to build the stability of it. So that is how the dynamic nature of kettlebells is going to accelerate your core strength and stability. Number 2 is that they help you hold position so you don't get pulled around. A lot of people, and again, because of the style of exercise that they're used to doing, they need to, in some respects, sort of feel the muscles working. And that might come from like a sit-up or a crunch or something like that. But with the kettlebells, when you come down into this position, what you can see sometimes is this type of thing happening, is the body moving like so. Now all that's doing, that's just counterbalancing where the weight goes. But if we keep it solid, what you then find is the muscles have to work that much harder to hold your body in position because the kettlebell is trying to pull it out of position. So the strength and stability comes by maintaining that upright position. If we make it a little bit more dynamic again and we sort of bring it round and come up, again, we're using more muscles, more of the body. Again, we're maintaining position of the torso and we're just trying to move and keep the arms moving to guide the weight where we want it to go. But all the time, the load through the torso is being moved when the weight moves. And then when we want to speed the weight up, as in bring it up into this position and then slow the weight down when we catch it, again, you get pulses. So not only is it moving around as the weight moves around, but as I get to here, it's got a pulse, and then it's got a pulse again when I catch it. So you get this pulsing nature and this movement nature as we move the weight around, but most importantly, as we keep the body solid as well. Number 3 is that they integrate the shoulders and the hips. So I'll use the example that I've used already for the shoulders, and then we'll choose another, or we use another one for the hips. So we come into this position, so we've got hips are locked, but with regards to the shoulders, again, if we keep the weight close to us and we bend the arms a little bit, it's much different than if we keep the arms straight. So we bend the arms a little bit. What you start to then find, pecs, deltoids, lats start working that much more. And again, if you're maintaining the position of the body like we talked about before, what then is happening is abdominals, obliques, QL, longissimus, iliocostalis, they're all working that much more. So we're starting now to integrate shoulders into the torso, and we're starting to integrate movement into the exercise. So this is how movement is best done, let's say, is the limbs are very good at going through that movement. The torso is very good at transferring that energy for the movement. So when we maintain position, it allows the limbs to do their job much better, certainly in an exercise like this. If we take the hips, we just go into a traditional kettlebell swing, for example. So again, we maintain the position here, and then we integrate the hips into the torso. So all the time, we're starting to build the body. So we've stabilized the spine, we've got the torso muscles working, they're working well, we've got dynamic load all around them, we've got that pulsing nature that I talked about when we're sort of catching the weight. So wherever we take that weight or take that load or take that object that we're carrying around in everyday life, our body can cope with it because it can recognize that it needs to move the load around and keep the muscles active. And then what we do is we add in the glutes and the shoulders to all of that, so it recognizes not only is it holding the torso solid, but it's bringing the limbs, the hips, the shoulders, and how to work it all as one unit, which is what the body is. But unfortunately, most of exercise, which is based on sort of a bodybuilding philosophy, has tried to break everything down into its individual muscles. So we're training the muscles, not the body, if that makes sense. And what we want to be able to do for core strength and stability is train the body and train movement. Number 4 is they teach you how to lift heavier weights. So I've got a 12 kilo, which is what I've been using all the way through, and then the one behind it is a 20 kilo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exercise that I did previously where I passed it around the back and lift it up to the shoulder. So with a 12, again, I can pass it around and I can bring it up to the shoulder. So I can pulse, I've got all of it moving around. Now 12 kilo, if I try and lift a 12 kilo just from here, it's kind of hard. Now if I then pick up a 20, I'm not going to be able to just lift that up to my shoulder. So what it helps us do is learn about how to use momentum. Now a lot of exercise tries to take out momentum. Again, that's the bodybuilding philosophy. Take out momentum, train the muscles. But we've got other tissues in the body. We've got tendons and we've got fascia as well. Now those we can integrate into movement with momentum, and I can lift this heavier weight, this 20 kilos, when I use momentum, because I can come round, just get it going, get a bit of momentum, bang, and I'm up. So I've got that little pulse from the torso, from the hips, I'm moving it around my body, and I'm up again. And I'm up again. So again, as we integrate the muscles of the torso, and then we integrate the shoulders and the hips, we can then use momentum that much more effectively, and we can lift heavier weights that much more effectively. Not only in the gym, but also in everyday life. So we become stronger without becoming stronger, if that makes sense. And that's very important when it comes to training with kettlebells, is we need to use the right weight. So many times do I see people moving around with 4 kilo kettlebells. It's not doing anything. You need a weight in your hands where it forces you to hold the position. So you're not getting sort of pulled out of position by the heavy weight. But that needs to be done in a progressive manner. So we need to be able to use heavier weights to get through life more effectively, but also we can train that in the gym using kettlebells. So that's 4 ways that kettlebells can help you accelerate your core strength and stability. So the strength part of it is the ability to hold the position. The stability part of it is to move the weights around so you're able to have a dynamic core, so you can spread the load around the torso, and then you've got all of that from the kettlebells. If you've enjoyed this content, please do hit the like button below. If you've learned something new, hit the thanks button below. If you've got a comment or a question, leave it in the comment section below. And if you want to watch more videos like this, please do hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, and you'll be notified when I release my next tutorial.